We're going to look at a very common problem that we run into. And this is an example here. It says, looking to add her name, number, and team logo. I'm getting stuck in the Bambu slicer saying conflicts of G code at layer 19. New to this, just bought a computer a week ago, been printing off my phone since December. So yes, this is a very common issue, and I'll show you how we can fix it. It's really straightforward. So let's go ahead and right click on our build plate here and add a primitive. And we will add a cylinder for this example. And our cylinder is going to overlap our model, okay? And so now we are going to go ahead and slice this. So we'll choose to slice the plate, and we'll get that same error message. But the conflict is going to happen at layer 1 instead of layer 19. Now, why yours says it's at layer 19 is because whatever you added to the original model, whether it be a text or your number or your logo, that is happening at layer 19. Okay, and so because we do not have our part that we're adding to the model as part of an assembly, your slicer is looking at each one of those parts as individual objects. So you see here it says conflicts of G-code paths have been found at layer 1 because this part exists on layer 1 and this part exists on layer 1, and it doesn't know what you want to do when it conflicts like this. So the way you fix that is you put both of these parts, so we go to the Objects tab here, and put both of those parts in an assembly. So we select them both. You select one and then control click the other, and then you right click and you choose merge, and now those are merged together. So now we're telling the slicer, treat this as one object, and where they conflict, fix it for me. Essentially, that's what it's saying. So now when we go ahead and slice this, it's going to slice it, but it's just going to say slice OK. There are no more conflicts because we have that as part of an assembly. And your assembly can have as many pieces and parts as you need it to. So if you have one object for the name, the custom name, you have another object for your custom logo, you have another object for the custom number, whatever you're doing here, you can be able to do this very, very easily. Okay. So you see here, it just says slice OK. There's no conflicts. And so that is for sure what your issue is. You've got multiple pieces, but you don't have them inside of an assembly. If you have them inside of assembly, you don't get those error messages. Okay, so there we go. So that takes care of that. So what if I want to make some changes? For example, I don't want the mustache here. So how do we take care of that? Well, it's really simple. We're going to select our model. We'll come up here to the measure tool, and we're going to measure the vertical face here, right there. And you can see it's 4.681. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and right click on the build plate here. So let's escape, and we'll right click on the build plate, and we're going to add a primitive cube. And in this case, we're going to scale it 4.681. 4.681. I said 82. Nope, 81. Okay, that's the same height. And now we're going to go ahead and use our control key, and we can pull this back, holding the control key though, basically the whole time. Okay, so that takes care of that, and then we can come forward much as we need to, and now you can see our mustache is gone. But we've created a problem for us because the slicer is going to find a conflict because these two things are not in an assembly. So we'll select them both and merge, and now it will go ahead and slice that, but we won't have our mustache in place. If there's no reason to do a mesh boolean, and that means take the two meshes and combine them together. If there's no real reason to do it, I recommend that we don't do it. Let's go ahead and slice this because I just want to show you what's going to happen here. So you can see here, that is the little rectangle, but because it's in an assembly, the slicer is going to treat this all as one piece. Okay, so it's going to essentially, it's going to perform a union, so to speak, but kind of like on the back side here. So you'll see this when we look at the individual layers here a little bit better. So it's creating our G code here. says slice is okay. So if we pull this down, watch what happens here when we get down to this level. You see how that infill is just solid, right? There's no evidence that there was ever a mustache there, okay? And that's because the slicer kind of more or less put the two meshes together and ignored that the mustache is there. But the mustache is still there, okay? So kind of keep that in mind. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's add some text. So just to show you how this works. So text, and what kind of text do we want to add? Well, let's we'll do Amelia. Okay, so there's Amelia, and then yeah, that's fine. As far as the height goes, maybe I really don't know the height. I don't know. Will that fit? It might fit. We'll just call it good there. Okay, so there's Amelia. Now let's look at it from the very top here, because I don't know if this is actually even going to fit. So there's, but we could select Amelia. Now this is not part of the assembly at this point. So we are going to have conflicts, okay? So let's first of all make Amelia, let's scale this Amelia to be 2 millimeters thick, which it is. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit smaller so it will fit in the area that we have available to us. Okay, so we're not going to scale it, but we can move it, something like that. All right. Now you can see what we've got a problem here because we can't see Amelia. Amelia needs to sit right on top of this plate. Well, we know what the plate is, 4.681. We know what the plate is, but where does Amelia fit into this? So the way this works is Amelia is 2. The plate thickness here is 4.681. So the Z height for Amelia has to be half of its thickness. So the Amelia is 2, the Z height is 1 plus 4.681, so 5.681. So if we take our text, I know this doesn't really make sense just yet, but it will, and we go and we want to move this in the Z, but we can't right now. We cannot move that in the Z because it's not part of an assembly. So we're going to hold our shift key down and swipe. Now we have all of our pieces. We should have all of our pieces selected. What do we got going on here? Selection conflicts. Well, there we go. And so then we're going to merge. So right click, bring it all into the same assembly. And then our text, let's go ahead and define a new, let's go ahead and let's make that yellow. We'll put Amelia in yellow. Okay, so Amelia's going to be in yellow here. But, so Amelia's in yellow, but we still can't see her because we're not at 5.681. But if we take our text here, and then yes, we'll go to our move tool, we will go to world coordinates, and we'll set 5.681. And now you can see Amelia is sitting on top of our plate there, okay? So that is how we would go about doing that, okay? Now, I do have another video that would show you how to add, for example, if we wanted to add a number on the side of this, how we could do that, okay? Now, this we have to do a little bit tricky. So I do, like I said, I do have a more in-depth video on adding a logo to a curved surface, but I feel like I can show you this pretty quickly. So let's go into Inkscape here and show you how we can generate this. So Inkscape is a really useful tool for 3D printing. We're going to get rid of our circles here, and this is the only way we can do this that I know of. So we're just going to grab our text tool, and let's just say Amelia was number 15, okay? And, well, we're going to use a different font here. We'll use collegiate, I think is what we'll use. Maybe college, yeah. Okay, there we go. So there's our number 15. So we're going to do path, and we're going to choose Object to Path here. Now this is Inkscape. It's a free graphics program, very, very useful for all of our 3D printing stuff. So you'll see lots and lots of videos on Inkscape and Bambu Studio on our channel. But we'll just call it 15 and hit save. And then we'll go back into Bambu Studio and we will select our assembly and we're going to right click, and this time we're going to choose Add Part. And what part do we want to add? Well, we want to add an SVG, right? So we'll come up here and we'll add an SVG, and it's number 15. We'll click open, and there is our part. Okay, so now you can see our part here. So there's our part, but now what we have to do is we have to rotate this part because it's not orientated in the proper direction that we need it to be. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and choose rotate. So now we're going to rotate, and we are going to rotate on the Z. So we're going to rotate 180 degrees. I'll be happy with that. Let's undo that. I don't really like the way Bambu Studio does its rotations. It's a little bit strange. So we're just going to go back to the beginning here. We'll choose Add Part. Yes, we want to add the SVG. And yes, we want to add 15. So that part's good. We want to go ahead and change the part color to 2. Let's go ahead and do that. And then, we'll go ahead and rotate it. And yes, we want to rotate it. So you see, it says it's already rotated 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and rotate it 180. Nope, we don't like that. You know what we could do here? Let's simplify this process for us, okay? Let's do that. I like simple. So when we're running in a little bit of an issue where that's not properly orientated, let's just do this. Let's just fix it in Inkscape. It's so much easier. So let's go ahead and rotate this. Now in theory, because that's rotated, let's hit File and Save again. In theory, when we bring it here into Bambu Studio, that should fix the problem. So our 15 will be oriented properly. So let's just try it. So we're going to go to Add Part. Yes, we're going to add an SVG. We're going to add 15. And there we go. So it's not quite orientated properly, but we're getting there. So that did have an effect. So let's go back, and all we're going to do is just rotate it the other way now. Okay? So now it will be rotated properly. So we'll hit File and Save. Like I said, Bambu Studio and its rotations are just weird, and it's so much easier just to fix it real quick. So let's go ahead and once again, we're going to add part. And yes, we're going to add the SVG. There's little tricks to make things work the way we need them to work. And see there? Now it's orientated properly. So let's go ahead and, again, change its color to filament number 2, and then we're going to use surface, okay? And I'll tell you what, let's not use surface just yet. Let's go ahead and change the size of it to fit on the cup the way we want to, okay? And then we'll click on Use Surface. Okay, so let's see that a little bit better now. And then what we could do here, it's a little bit difficult to see, but see this little yellow square here? Let's go ahead and change it to only 2mm thick. Okay, so it's only going to be 2mm thick, but then that little yellow one, we can click and drag it around to be exactly where we want it to sit. Okay, so that is the trick, and it'll stay on the face of our rounded piece there. So there we go. We can put it something like that if we want to. And then maybe make it a little bit bigger now that we can put it where we want it. So let's just move this over a little bit. There we go. It was acting funny. Let's make it a little bit bigger yet. Okay. So there we go. So there is a custom number. Okay, and so if we wanted to add a custom logo, I don't know where you would do it exactly, but we would do it the same way. All right, so there you go. So, and now our prime tower here is too close to our object here. Everything's in the assembly. If we collapse our assembly, nothing is outside the assembly. So all of this is going to print properly, but we can move this down away from the prime tower, and our prime tower we can probably slide up a little bit as well to get that out of our way. Okay, so now we should be able to print this no problem. But yes, so if you've got a curved surface, the best solution there is to go ahead and use Inkscape and use your number there, and then use that option to use surface when you apply, and you can put it right there on the surface. Um, so that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there's anything else I could show you real quick. I think that's good for this one. So that will kind of wet your whistle and get you going here. Now if we go ahead and slice this one last time, just to prove to you that it will slice properly. Oh, one other point to make is in Bambu Studio, it's a great tool to apply SVGs to a surface. So like if we had a 3D model of a hoodie, we could add our logo to the contour of the hoodie, rounded shapes like we just did. That's all well and good, but where Bambu Studio lets us down is if we had a multicolored, right? If we had a multicolored one, that's where the problem is. What do we got here? Conflicts with G-photo found at layer 1. Please separate the conflicting objects. Well, oh, okay. So our prime tower. Our prime tower, I can say that shouldn't be. Our prime tower is touching our support. So that's a no-no. So yes. So we can move our prime tower back, and now we'll reslice. That should miss our support now. So it's just recreating our G code, and yes, that was the issue. Our prime tower was touching our support right there. Okay, so we have all kinds of supports here to support that cantilever. But how fun is that? So yes, very easy to make a lot of these edits, but it does take a little bit of time to learn all the ins and outs of the slicer. But once you do, pretty cool stuff you can create. So I hope this was useful for you. Learn a little bit about customizing an existing model. Now, a couple points. If you could leave a comment for us, good, bad, or otherwise, that helps with the YouTube algorithm to push our videos out for other people to see them. And then also, we're thinking about doing a YouTube live for like an hour, hour and a half question and answer session for Bambu Studio and Inkscape. And so if you have an interest in learning more about either of those, I have questions. That might be a good opportunity to get your questions answered. So if that's something that interests you, if you could just leave us a comment so we can kind of gauge the interest to see if that's something that we're going to do at some point. If you subscribe to our channel and we do a YouTube live, then you'll automatically get a notification that we're going to be doing a YouTube live. And then when we do go live, about 30 minutes prior to going live, you'll get a notification that, hey, we really are going live if you've got time to join us. So so if that's something that interests you, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and you can participate in those live events if we wind up doing those. So anyhow, again, thanks for watching. Till next time.